Imagine sitting in your next system design interview. The interviewer looks at you and drops this question: design an AI agent that can answer questions, read files, run code, and search the web for multi-step tasks. Look at the top left corner of the screen where it says genai right next to it. The challenge is laid out. Your first instinct might be to sketch out what you see on the left side under the red box. Just an LLM connected to a neat list of tools like a code interpreter and web search. But that is a trap. The interviewer is not testing whether you can call an API from an LLM. Every engineer in the room knows how to do a function call. Look closely at the red text on the left. Merely giving an LLM access to tools is the wrong architecture because it lacks the autonomy to manage errors or handle compound multi-step workflows. Think about it, like asking a capable human assistant to book a complex international trip. They do not just execute one massive command. They plan, check a flight, find out it is booked, check an alternative hotel, adjust based on what they find, and repeat. The loop itself is the intelligence. Now follow the green arrow to the right into the green box titled Actual Design Challenge. This is where you win the interview. You need to show the interviewer the core architecture, a continuous planning loop. Look at the center of the diagram. The model must decide on a tool, execute the call, read and observe the output, and then evaluate its progress before looping back. The entire architecture lives within this cycle. Look to the right of the loop to see the real engineering hurdles you must mention: memory, failure, recovery, and termination conditions. You need state management to store the workflow context across steps. You need explicit logic to handle a web timeout or a code crash without killing the agent. Finally, notice the stop sign at the bottom right. You must design a strict termination condition so the agent knows when the task is successfully done or when to stop trying. Two tools solve this in production today: LangGraph and Autogen. LangGraph treats these loops as explicit state machines for precise control, whereas Autogen focuses on conversational multi-agent communication. But what happens when this planning loop gets stuck in an infinite circle, burning through your API tokens without making any progress? In classic system design, something either works or it does not. If your web server fails a request, it throws a 500 error, and in agent design there is a complex, terrifying third state. The agent is running, spending your tokens, navigating decisions, and you just cannot tell yet if it will succeed or fail. This image at the top layout reveals why. It is not just about connecting an LLM to tools. Designing an agentic system is managing 5 fundamental constraints. Look to the far left at constraint number 1. This recursive loop shows that the agent can cycle indefinitely without step limits or cost ceilings built into your system design. A bad plan or an obscure error will quickly exhaust your entire API budget while you watch it happen in real time. This is a novel, high-stakes engineering problem. Moving into the second constraint, right in the center top, we do not just have an LLM call that occasionally fails. We have a failure cascade. Look at the icons. One tool, like your web search, fails. Your agent cannot just exit with an error. It needs precise, baked-in logic to decide what to do next. Does it retry, skip that data source, fall back to a cached result, or must it gracefully stop the whole plan? The hardest constraint, however, is not the one that outright crashes your agent. Look at the partial completion box at the bottom right. This progress bar is green up to step 8. Then a red X hits step 9. The task is not finished, but steps 1 through 8 probably had side effects. Files written, API calls made, or even an email sent. Retrying from scratch might duplicate those critical side effects. Every distributed systems engineer knows this immediately as the two-phase commit problem. Your choice of agent framework is defined by how it handles this specific complexity. Now shift to the top right to check the third constraint. The context window is a ticking time bomb. Every single one of those past tool results is being appended to the context. Look at how the window gets overloaded. A relatively short 10-step task can easily overflow even the largest available context window, requiring sophisticated design for data summarization or selective memory. Finally, at the bottom left, the agent is inherently non-deterministic. This branching diagram is key. The prompt is fixed, but the exact sequence of actions will change. Step 1 might look different on Monday than it did on Tuesday, forcing every downstream decision into unpredicted territory. This means you must build a system that manages this extreme unpredictability at every node. How do you build a single cohesive architecture that accounts for all 5 of these fundamental differences? Look at the large column on the right side of the screen labeled the tool registry. When you draw this on a whiteboard in an interview, this is where your callable functions live, all neatly described by JSON schemas. Think of things like file read, bash execution, or RAG retrieval. The LLM itself does not contain these tools. Instead, it reads these text schemas to understand exactly when to call a specific tool and what arguments it needs to pass. Now, look at the big circle right in the center, the planning loop. This is the core intelligence of the architecture. When an initial task comes in from the top, the LLM does not know what tools it will eventually call. It evaluates the task, decides on the first tool, executes it in a secure sandbox, appends the result to the context, and evaluates what to do next. Step limits and cost ceilings are not engineering niceties. They are your primary safety mechanisms. Without them, an agent will run for minutes, exhaust thousands of tokens, and produce nothing useful. The engineers who design agents without explicit termination conditions are the ones who get the 3 AM cost alert. Build the ceiling in from day one. Look to the top left box labeled short-term memory. Notice how the arrows float directly between it and the planning loop. This is your in-context accumulation. Every single time a tool executes, its raw output appends straight to this session history. This is the exact pressure point that eventually hits the context window limit we discussed earlier. It is fast, but it is entirely stateless once the session ends. To fix that, look down at the bottom left cylinder labeled long-term memory. This is your vector database. When a session terminates, key insights and execution logs are processed and saved here. On the very next user session, the agent can run a semantic search against this database. What the agent learned last week is pulled back into the loop as relevant context. 2 tools solve this integration problem in production today: LangChain and the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. LangChain provides a massive ecosystem of pre-built tool wrappers and memory components, while MCP introduces a standardized open standard for how LLMs securely connect to data sources and development tools. But how do you actually implement the core planning loop itself so the model doesn't lose track of its original goal? Look at the column on the far left of the image to see exactly how Claude Code maps this abstract architecture onto production reality. It ships with the lean code tool registry, file read, file write, bash execution, code search, and web fetch. But notice the MCP icon at the bottom of that column. The Model Context Protocol is the design decision that makes Claude Code's tool registry open rather than closed. Any engineer can write an MCP server that exposes their internal tools as callable functions. Claude Code reads the schema, adds it to the registry, and can now call your internal APIs as naturally as it calls file read. This is how a closed agent becomes an open platform. Move your eye to the next panel, the sandboxed execution environment. Claude Code does not just run bash commands naked on your system. It utilizes configurable directory and command permissions. Look at the lock icons. Before a tool executes, the system enforces user-defined boundaries, preventing the agent from wandering into sensitive root directories or executing dangerous scripts without explicit consent. Now look at the middle section, detailing the 200,000 token context window. While that sounds massive, a complex project state with multi-file editing sessions will eat through it rapidly. If you're enjoying this deep dive into real-world agent internals, hit that subscribe button right now so you do not miss our upcoming architecture breakdowns. Every single tool result, file diff and bash log piles into this window, creating massive pressure on the underlying LLM's memory limits. To manage this, look up at the top right panel covering the configurable limits and hook system. This slider mechanism represents the step limit and cost ceiling. This is the exact engineering decision that separates brittle demo agents from resilient production tools. By configuring strict limits, developers can stop an agent before a runaway loop burns hundreds of dollars on a single malfunctioning task. Finally, trace the green arrows over to the right side of the infographic to see the failure handling and retry loop. When a tool fails, like a bash execution returning a non-zero exit code, the entire process does not crash. Look at the workflow down at the bottom right. Claude reads the raw terminal error, evaluates what went wrong, and autonomously makes a decision. It will either retry with a completely different command, ask you for clarification, or abandon that specific step to try an entirely new architectural path. Two tools solve this environment. Sandboxing in production today, E2B and Docker. E2B provides secure micro-virtual machines tailored specifically for long-running AI code execution, whereas Docker is the classic container standard for isolated, reproducible app environments. But how do you actually write the system instructions that prompt an agent to build a robust mental model of its task without losing track of the final goal? Look at the top left corner under step 1 to see your opening move. The moment the interviewer finishes asking the question, name the 4 components immediately: the tool registry, the planning loop, short-term memory, and long-term memory. Then immediately pivot to step 2 right below it and say, the hardest part is managing the loop, specifically termination, failure handling, and context accumulation. Doing this in the first 30 seconds completely changes the dynamic interviews. Remember the candidate who leads directly with the architectural constraints, not the one who merely describes how to make a basic function call. Now, move your eyes to the center panel labeled Step 3 to look at the 3 classic trade-off pushbacks interviewers will use to test you. The first question is how to prevent infinite loops, and your answer must include explicit timeouts and cost monitoring. The second pushback is what happens when a tool fails, which you answer by laying out your strategy for try-catch blocks, fallback mechanisms, and autonomous replanning. The third question is how you test an agent with non-deterministic output. Testing a non-deterministic agent is not like testing a deterministic function. You cannot just write an assertion that the output equals a specific expected value. Instead, you tell them you run the task 100 times and evaluate if the statistical success rate stays above a defined threshold, like 90%. That shift from binary equality assertions to statistical benchmarks signals a senior level understanding of what production systems actually require. Finally, look at the gold bordered box on the right side titled The Offer Winner. This pattern interrupt frames the entire engineering discipline. In classic distributed systems, a process either worked or it failed. In agentic design, you have to manage a complex third state. The system is actively running, spending money, and making unpredictable decisions, but its eventual success is still entirely uncertain. Designing for that third state is the real challenge. Two tools solve this evaluation and testing challenge in production today: Braintrust and Phoenix. Braintrust provides a high-performance evaluation engine for running complex web-scale AI integration tests, while Phoenix focuses on open-source tracing and real-time LLM observability. If you want to master these production architectures, subscribe now to get our deep dives delivered on a bi-weekly cadence. Then click the link in the description to watch our next video where we break down how to design a complex multi-agent system with advanced orchestration and shared context.